So, hi everybody and welcome back. This is Unreal Engine 5 tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 56, and in this video we are continue and finishing our quick start example for the behavior tree. So let's jump into it. What we have to do, we are on number 7, and here we are creating something like a decorator. And yeah, let's get into it and see what this decorator is. So what we have to do is, first of all, let's go here and see what they are saying. They're saying third-person blueprints, open the third-person blueprints, and in detail. So they say first you have to tag the player. This one we have already, let me switch this here. This one we have already done before we tagged our player, which is, yeah, we have already tagged him. You know what I mean, right? So when I open my player character, which is this one, you go here, but let's do it again just for the sake that it's absolutely done here. You go open up your player character. Where was it? In for my case, this Infinity Warrior. You go here on top, you go here on the details panel, right tag, and then the tags which you can tag your players, and then you press here this array and then you write here player. Just one more info about this tag. This tag is very nice to identify later also with different informations for this player. You can tag here very different names to identify this player or in certain situations where the player is and so on. So this tag system is a very nice thing actually. So that said, let's continue. And then what they say is enemy character blueprint folder in I, and here they are going to say we have to go to our character, our enemy character this time. So we jump to the, in my case, to my quick start folder, and then I open up my enemy character. I click this one, right? Yeah, away. And then what we have to do here is you go to, not this one, this is the enemy character, and then you go here again on top, here on the left side, you write here. All time when they show something like this one or say something like this one, it's easier to write just the name here. So for example, Joe. Of course I say it and then I don't find it. Oh, here, search for rotation. Okay, they say something with rotation, and then you see it's popping up, and then we have here the options, use control, rotation show, and they want that we click this. So the AI controller need that. So after we set this, and here, by the way, it's here on pawn. So this is also something. And yeah, let's continue here a little bit. And here, from the toolbar first. So what they do is now, that's very, very interesting. They create something like a decorator. So what is a decorator and how we create it? First of all, after we compile, save this one, we jump first back to our, let's clear this one. This one we can keep. This one we can keep, and we go back to our behavior tree actually. And so I made here a mistake. I kick all out. I go here to my folder and then I click my behavior tree. Nice to see that behavior tree looks here. You can see a little bit like a tree, only on the other way around. So in behavior tree, what we are going to do is we go to our node where it says chase player, and then we can right click. And when we right click, we go here on the bottom and we see we have two options. One, we have services, and then one, we have add the decorator. So here this what they are in special, you can read here these two things, what they are. And in our case, we will use this decorator, and a decorator in our case, what we are creating, a bool decorator, is just a condition, which means it will check yes or no, and then it will start this chase player. So you have to think, when we add, I can add here one more decorator, but the question is how we add this decorator. I said earlier that you can find this decorator, and we have here different options. In our case, we select this blackboard, and why we are selecting this blackboard is we want to use our created variables. So we have here our blackboard again. We can switch here on the right side. forth and back, and we want to use these variables. And I said in one video I said that we have created in our controller, AI controller, this setter for has line of sight, and now we want to use that. Actually, we want to use that with this decorator. And how we are using that, after you created the decorator, and after you selected this blackboard, now we have access to these variables, but we have set here something on top. And what we have set here is, you can see it, it says, what it says on this one, not, we have to set this to both, and I will discuss here, explain what this is in a moment. And here, that's important, blackboard K, and this blackboard K is the variable which we created. This bool variable we have created in our AI controller. It was set, and now we are using this. And let me open this one one more time up. What I mean with that, it was long, but here, if you remember, these are the two variables which we set by the strange timer handler here, event by timer. And all what this is actually just, it checks if the player has the tag player, in our case our player character, yes, and if it says yes, and it checks if this stimulus has sensed anything, and it says yes, and in this case anything is the player, because we combine them with an and then when it goes here on true, it will set as line of sight important. This is a setter to true, enemy actor to our player character, and here as a line of sight we can use. And you see this decorator, what we are talking here is in the end just a checker who says yes or no. It's just an if statement. If you know a little bit programming, then it says just yes or no. If I see the player character, you can go here and chase the player. That makes sense, right? If I see the player character, go turn to him, chase the player character, and move. And actually, that's it. And after this one, we have not programmed much after this one, because then when it's out of sight, he will go to petrol again. But how is he going to petrol? And that's a little bit talk here. And this has to do something with the setting here on top, which it says observer aborts. So when this observer stops doing it, or what it means, first of all, what means observer aborts, right? This is here the question. Aborts means it will cancel an action, which is the behavior tree doing. In this case, when I click none, you see nothing is selected, right? You can see right now it's nothing selected. This one will cancel no action here. But when I click, for example, lower priority, it says I will cancel this section if this is active. Let's go here again. So this checker will cancel this part here if this is active, and then it will try to jump here. And when we say both, let's see what we have here. Where is that? Here to both, which they said, it will not only cancel this section, it will also cancel this section, and then start over here again. This, yeah, you have to read this a little bit here, but a little bit more in detail. And important here is one more setting. As line of sight is just a naming. That's not so important actually, but important for the non-programmer. And here they describe it, what it does. So actually that was it. That was a quick start. And let's demonstrate and talk a little bit one more time about it. So in my case, very important information. I had anyhow bugs at start. I tried to figure them out, and I changed and tested and so on, fine. And in the end, I don't know what, there was nothing. And it worked anyhow later. I don't know why. So makes no sense, but yeah, perhaps I was too tired and set something off and changed it later and even don't realize it. So I hope you have not this problem and don't waste your time, because this documentation works. The only thing, if you follow this tutorial, is make sure that you create your animation blueprint for this character. Like I said, we have cast from here to this character and then use this as the variable names and so on in this animation blueprint. So, and when I start this, then you see I have placed him here in the world. He is patrolling now. He's not seeing me, and you can see he's walking in random positions, and then he's waiting there a little bit. But when I step out and he's seeing me, he is coming to me, and I intentionally made him slow so that I can run away. And you see, now he's not seeing me again, because that was already too much time. And let's make this a little bit more visual, right? Because this is the behavior, that's fine, but the nice thing is we can of course drag this out and make this here a little bit more visual. So let's see here, I start this one here, put this one here and just start this. So like in the example, and now you see what here on the right side is active. Right now the petrol section is active, and when I come out, you see the condition has checked that yes, I can see him, I chasing him. Oh, I'm still there, I'm still there. And now, oops, he still found me because I was too slow. He still found me, but now, and now, no, I'm too slow. I think he sees me because I watch too much. So, and now he sees me not. You can see it on the little, yeah, on the petrol section. He is walking around, then he is walking to the new position and then waits at this position for seconds or so, and then he walks again to the new calculated position and then waits again there. And now when I come out, this one will all cancelled. You see, this petrol section is cancelled now because this decoder said I cancel all and then I start chase player. And now it was again a long time. And yeah, you see, I hope it works for you too. And the last thing what we can talk here is, yeah, not really talk. You have just to play here a little bit around. It's very easy actually. And the last thing what I can say is this system is made for different persons, right? This system here, for example, is made for a non-programmer. What that does mean is a non-programmer just learns how to set up these nodes, and then he can set up the gameplay and he can concentrate for the gameplay. That's what we did so far. All this coding stuff here, what you see here, all this coding stuff is just a setup. Has not so much to do with gameplay, I would say. Why not? Because later you will decide here what you really want. So you say, I want, for example, chase the player. Then you create, for example, the sequence. And then you say, I want to do this. Then you create a task here, for example, chase player, and then set up how to do this. For example, you click on and you see how what we did there. We have just changed here the movement speed and so on. Yeah, that's very important that you keep in mind. This one is set up for a non-programmer, so he can, if you work, for example, in a team, you have a friend or a programmer who, I mean, a non-programmer who say, I can set up the whole logic, gameplay logic, but you are going to program all the parts. Then, yeah, think about this one. That's set, I think. The last thing what we have to talk is it worth this one to learn? Because if you remember, I made here also this other version of my AI. Let's see if this is working at all. So we have now two. My AI is just running, and the problem with my AI is if I have now configure other behaviors, I can do too. right here, this one, the one guy who is running behind me, that was this other AI. And if I open this one up, you can see that is all the logic what we did there. But this one is very primitive actually. He is just coming to me and play an animation, and then if I have to want more things to do, like here that he should patrol, of course I can write here a patrol code with random location too and do all things here too. But the question is, can you work then with a non-programmer? And the answer is probably not, because this one is, let's say so, this one is more code based. So you have to be a programmer, because you set all here in this blueprints, and always, yeah, you set here all with blueprints more or less, and then code it here. And here on this behavior tree system, if you work with a programmer, the programmer set up only the nodes here, and the other guy set all up the logic and how to run, when to do, what to do, move or wait, and so on. Yeah, so that's my first impression about this one. But I personally think this one could be more powerful, because this one, what we see here in the quick start, is just a quick start, which means it's just a little part of the power of this behavior tree. Because when we go here to the other parts, and not this one, here to the other parts, mass entry, and what is this? Yeah, here, when you go here, artificial, and then open up this artificial again, and then you have here so many parts which involves in behavior tree, ecosystem, query system, and so on. Yeah, perhaps this one, I think this one could be more powerful. The only thing what you have to consider is probably performance. And then you have to say, do I use a behavior tree performance, or is a really simple thing like that what I set up in my case enough? And in my case, which I create here a simple game, also this field here, and we will spawn here enemies, and I will just destroy them with animations, with skills, and then we spawn later a boss and we fight him. And I think I will go here just for this coding stuff, or perhaps both. But the good point is we know both, and from now on we can decide what we think is good and what not. So with that said, we did a lot of coding. It is time again to do something with design, I think. And yeah, we will see what we do next. So bye and good luck so far. And all time, if you have any questions, you can write it in the comments. But I think we followed here anyway the documents. You will have not any question, because you can follow the documentation, and they describe it all perfect. With that said, I stop this video, and yeah, bye.